You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the August 18th meeting for the Long Beach Advisory Plan Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
It is 7 o'clock on Monday, August 18th, 2025. This is the Advisory Plan Commission meeting. I'd like to call the meeting now to order, and let's stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Coming in Zoom, we'll see. Diana, would you like to do the roll call, please?
Yes. Kendra Bartlett,
She did indicate she would be absent.
Diana Holt, I'm here. Matt Carstrand,
Here.
Seth McCormick,
He's not on Zoom. Okay.
Anita Remigis.
Here.
Tom Voyevich. And Chris Willoughby.
President.
Is Meg by any chance on Zoom? She mentioned it.
She's
No.
not
Okay.
yet.
Okay. We have the, okay. Hi, Meg. I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 16th, 2025 meeting.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Oh, Tom, you have to abstain, right? Or you weren't here? So
He
He just
doesn't.
He just doesn't.
No, because I
Okay.
meant to clear that up before. You can vote if they're in proper order, doesn't mean that you are voting for the contents of it. So you can, meaning
Oh.
his participation. So we can discuss that because I know you brought that up at a
Yes,
recent.
yes, very recently I was told.
Otherwise, it doesn't
Something.
pass. So you guys have that. If you don't have 4 votes tonight, then it doesn't pass because you
Oh.
have.
Well, we have 4 votes then. Tom, would you like to vote on the minutes? Thank you. All right. Then the minutes pass. Old business is going to be our comprehensive plan update, and we've all had a chance to look at the survey which was sent to us from McKenna, Brad Meisner, and Jim McManus. And unless somebody thinks there's a better way to do it, I did get comments from some of the APC members, and I thought maybe we could go through them one by one and see what everybody thinks about them. My question right now is just to make sure that and I did go over these with Joy, the council president, just to make sure that there are spots after each of the questions for people to answer so that for comments. So that was just one thing that Joy wanted to make sure that when we send our comments to Brad, that's something we want to be sure people can comment. So if we're ready to start, I guess just one is age range. I think that's just probably just a regular. And Tom, I know you've had experience with these. So I'm just guessing that this is something that was also done for Long Beach when we did it in 2016 and is just a regular way to go about the survey. All right. How many people live in your household? That's, I mean, to me, that's, I guess, is that under, and then they go to under 18. So I'm going with that. Yeah. And then, are you a full-time resident of the town? So this has recently come up with some committees, and suggestion that has come up is to, instead of saying, are you a full-time resident of the town, is this your main residence and do you homestead here? So I don't know, Chris, what's your thought on that?
It's semantics. They both mean the same thing. So you don't get to be a homesteader and your main resident if you're not a full-time resident, so. Or it could just not say full-time and then are you a legal resident? So
Okay.
what's he getting at? Wants to see who's here so that for the,
I think you want some numbers. He's
Well,
he's looking for.
I guess
Right.
I interpreted it as being, this can be your main residence, but you spend 6 months someplace else. It can be your homestead, but you spend 6 months someplace else. And I
Right.
think the way I interpreted that question, and I may be totally wrong, but I interpreted it as, are you here through the winter months? Do you care what happens in the winter months, or do you just care for the summer things? Because in my estimation, having been a full-time resident for a long time, there are different priorities when you're away from the summer. You know, that maybe somebody who's not here in the wintertime doesn't care if the streets get cleaned in an appropriate fashion and time. That's the way I interpreted it.
Well, I would add to that, somebody who doesn't live here full-time is going to have a very different experience of the community.
Mhm.
There are things in the questionnaire asking for my opinion, and I have no opinion because I
Mhm.
haven't experienced that. So I think it's a valid question. At least to the extent that we get a sense of what percentage of people who are answering are full-time residents versus part-time. However we define part-time.
Right.
It's a very
yeah,
different
yeah,
experience.
I don't disagree because I think it's less about who's doing what to make sure that they're technically a full-time resident of Florida because there's a tax break in their
Right.
income
Right.
tax, but they
Right.
spend their time here.
Right.
So I think that full-time is what you want, right? Do you
Yeah.
spend the
So leave it
seasons
at
here? Do you-
full-time.
Yeah.
Or,
That's-
or,
that's-
or what you were saying, legal. I mean, you could put it that way if you wanted to.
But it might be those
Right.
people dipping, you have just enough days so that you're a Florida resident,
Yeah.
but you spend more time here, right?
So it just matters what they decide to put.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So stick
think
with,
it's
are,
fine.
are you a
too.
full-time
I
resident?
think- Yeah.
I think it's okay.
I would prefer to see it as full-time because you can be a legal resident and not live here all the time.
So Tom, you would answer no. Would you answer no, or would you answer yes? Because you have, are you a full-time resident? You'd answer, okay, so, all right. All right, then we'll just stick with, are you a full-time resident? And then this is another one that was commented on by, in some of the comments, what intersection do you live closest to? And part of one of the things that Brad talked to me about was when you ask people to give their address, they don't want to give their address.
That's fair.
So, or they may not answer the survey. So that's what he was saying. In a town like Long Beach, you can say what intersection and at least you'd have an idea where it is. So, you know, is that important to what we're doing in the survey? I think it matters to where people are.
I agree.
What do you think?
I don't know, what's it matter? Somebody could live on the outskirts of town, but care what's going on at the community center. So to me, I'm not sure that that's a question that matters of what intersection you live at, unless you're looking at improving, you know, that makes some of it their view centric, right, in that
Mhm.
neighborhood. And maybe if that's what he's trying to do, I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me. I'd rather know if they're a resident or they're not a resident, right? I mean, and what their input is.
I think providing an intersection at least helps provide some context to the responses. For instance, if I lived across the street from Park and it's asking you whether or not we need more parks, I'd probably say no.
Mhm.
I've got one right next door. So I just think there's a context benefit of having that in there, but it really all depends on how many people respond to. We end up with
You know, and Yeah, there's a valid response from a neighbor who lives across from this saying we don't need pickleball courts here, right?
Totally.
So,
But
so that's, yeah, it's
Okay.
valid.
I think it's fine to ask.
All right, community. So rate your impression of the quality of each of the following from 1 very negative perception to 4 very positive perception. So do we need the very in there? I mean, I do nitpick sometimes things, but is it just negative perception or positive perception? I just kind of pick out words, so.
I have a question though. Is this space afterward for someone to write something if they'd like?
Where are you?
You know, at the community, like, or they just get to mark a number? Will they be able to?
Well, that's what I have to ask Brad.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
because we
fi-
have to make
Because
sure
that would
that,
be, it would provide more information if someone got to answer and then say something if
Expound
they'd
on
want,
it,
if
yeah.
they'd like, yes. To elaborate a little bit.
all right, so do we want to leave very negative perception and very
I
positive?
think it's fine.
That's fine.
All right, I know Chris, like, all right. Recreational amenities, and it's, yes, yes, yes.
What's lacking in this is you either like or you dislike. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't give you, I have no opinion.
Oh,
response. And the only reason that I would add no opinion to these things is it may help inform us of where we need to do more work of informing people what's actually going on, what the town is doing.
That's a very good point.
Mhm.
So we could do it like a 0, no opinion type of,
Or just a not applicable, yeah, something, yeah.
okay, so I have to figure out with Brad how he does that. So
he
if
could do
we,
it. He could do it.
Yeah,
so if we do one is very negative,
Let him figure that out,
I
just,
know.
just.
one is very, 4 is very positive, and then we have no
We just have a
opinion.
no opinion.
No opinion.
All right. So we have recreational amenities, community parks, playgrounds is what I'm going to. And our community parks are really, and playgrounds are Melrose Park and then the community center, if I am correct on the parks. And Melrose Park was done 10 years ago I mean, and so, yeah, so those are our community those are our recreational amenities. Condition of roads.
Yep.
And sense of community. Does it, I have a sense of community. I live on a nice block, so some people might not,
Should live on-
depending on who they know. Yeah. School districts we removed because we don't have schools.
Was my point.
Town government.
Hold on a second, Bill.
Oh, what?
I mean, you contribute to a school system though, and people move here that use
Oh.
Notre Dame and you are in the Michigan City School District and there's Marquette. So you don't
Oh,
schools, but
never
the school
mind.
District is where you qualify.
Oh.
You pay taxes towards that.
See,
Mhm.
Tom and Joy, come on. All right, so we're leaving school districts.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're leave in.
I would.
And do we need to, do you think mark the schools down or no? Just
No.
leave school
Those
districts and
who
know
are
that
involved.
people.
Others are gonna have no opinion, or they might have a strong opinion, even though they don't have any.
All right, so we
I
have
think that should
Marquette.
just be uniform.
Okay, we have Marquette, we have Notre Dame. That it?
Michigan City area
Michigan
schools.
City, that's right. Okay,
Think we need to, yeah.
all right.
You have kids that
Sorry,
come-
Tom, sorry, Joy.
That you have
Some
kids
go
that
to
commute to
Montessori,
Mount
some-
Carmel, right? I mean, that's not our school district, but.
All right, all right. Town government, that's pretty broad.
It is.
I think it's fine.
Everybody
Yeah.
okay with that?
Yeah.
And then housing quality. Everybody okay? And then one of the changes Tom mentioned was make it availability of housing. Just a little switch of words, but availability of housing.
On there.
No, oh,
It is on there.
wait, what did you say? What did you change it to? I thought you changed it to something. I know, now I know, that's what it says. Did you say housing? Oh, you said housing availability. Yes,
Coincides with, they don't have.
Housing quality.
yes,
Yeah, housing quality and then availability of housing.
That makes sense.
yes. Patterns of growth and development. Crime, I mean, that's pretty broad. Shopping. Neighborhood quality. Walkability. Bikeability. Environmental quality. I don't know what that meant. I didn't know if that means air. I don't know what that meant. I don't know if that means trash pickup. I don't know if that means they pick up our recycling. I didn't know what environmental quality
It's a
meant.
broad term.
So, and any thoughts, Tom? I mean,
May go to people that want more green space, right? It could
Mhm.
mean,
so just
several,
let
so-
them tell us what they think, or I'll tell you what I think it means, or,
But I really think that people should be able to expound on these things if they want to, like
Right.
next to it. I think
Mhm.
that should be able to, in the, taking the survey, that should be an option if you want to mark it and then say something.
Yep.
Because those are all going to be helpful.
Yeah.
Not all, but some might be.
right, okay. And this one I just we changed to communications technology, cell, internet, broadband, because question 29 had to do with, which used to be, sorry, question, yeah, 29, which was 26, so we'll get to that later, said communications technology, cell, internet, broadband. So I was just trying to make it the same, the same question. So that's all we did was still say communications technology, cell, internet, broadband.
so is that one? Is that? So let me check on 20. You're saying it's 29 now?
Well, when we get to it, it's 26 right now, but we made some changes on numbers.
So the issue is that intimating town provided or the availability?
Well, that people talk about whether we'll ever get anything like that. So we're talking about our impression of the quality of each of the items. So the quality is, I guess, that doesn't say the town provides it.
When I read it, I viewed it as, can you make a phone call from your living room, or can you get cell service on the beach?
Or how many people say, hey, I'm
Right.
going down Lake Shore Drive, I'm probably gonna drop.
Right.
Or I'm not gonna
And-
have
When
service.
you get to the beach, you won't be able
Right.
to contact
Right.
me, which I love.
Right. So not necessarily the technology, but the service. Like, what kind of service do we actually have? That's the way I read that. The other question I read differently. But because-
We had a discussion with the consultants.
Yeah,
What is it they were trying to get to?
right.
See, maybe. That's it.
So what would we want to get from that question? Or would we not even want to see that question? So we're looking at,
Went out and
I
used
think
it
it's-
in on the other one.
I think it's just important that it's read, like she read it, that it isn't, there's not an intimation, for instance, somebody who's not a full-time resident. Most people know the town doesn't provide any of these services, right? None of these things, there's not a Long Beach AT&T, right? There's none of those. So it might be clear in and of itself.
And I'm not sure, unless there's something that's glaring, that we want to tell them what the question should be, because that's what we hired them.
I agree.
We could have written this survey ourselves if we thought we could do it. Exactly.
You live here and that's.
Right, right.
honestly, That's what I'm on, many of these zoning codes, comprehensive plans, is you want to make sure you don't get a canyon. You need it to. apply
Right.
to your community.
right.
and what you experience. So I'm with you on that as they're driving the bus, but we need to
Right.
make sure that they understand what you
Right.
have to say.
So my point is not necessarily that we tell them. My point was, I don't think we should take that one out necessarily.
Right. Right. I agree. We said we won't take it
Because
out.
it is an issue in this community. I don't know what control we have over it, but if
Neither.
it shows up that it becomes, everybody thinks it's an issue, maybe in the future, we make it a priority to investigate that, see what we can do, see if we can, lobby with, AT&T, get another whatever it may be. That's what we're trying to find out. What do the people want?
Agreed.
Northwest Indiana is, super highway for these kinds of things and the optics and all of that. So, yeah, there's no reason you shouldn't have all of the capabilities of everybody else.
Mhm.
So do we leave it communications technology, cell, internet, broadband? Okay, we're leaving it there. And then Tom suggested it's not a tourist destination. We don't have a lot. I mean, we have things, but it was more of a vacation destination. I mean, people come here to vacation. I'm not sure it's just I think vacation I actually like the word better. I mean, if you're on vacation, many times you're a tourist, but
Two different experiences.
yeah. Any thoughts on that, or people are okay with it? What, you're not liking it?
It's
It is
semantics.
semantics, but I
Semantics,
think
that's all.
it's a better,
I mean,
That's what, in my experience, this community is not an Airbnb community.
Correct.
It is a flyby. It's people coming who have either newly found or they've been introduced by other people or generations. And yeah, I think it's vacation.
Yeah.
Trying to pull in people, the wall family, right? They have
Right.
multiple generations living here.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think tourism is.
yeah,
good for the boat races and
right, or Michigan City, right, in the zoo and that kind of thing, Washington Park, so,
There are no amenities. For vagrants.
right,
You go to the beach, there's no place to park.
that's right. And some of that, the question is, do you want that to continue or is that by design, right?
Yeah.
You can go to the beach here as long as you walk from Hacienda. So,
mm-hmm,
And if you're renting a house for the week or a month.
Right.
It's a totally different experience.
yeah,
Mhm.
okay. And then we move on to environmental policy. So those are all of our shoreline, our wooded areas, open spaces, beach stops. So please rank which areas of the town you think are most important to preserve for natural space and environmental protection, with one being the most important. So our wetlands and marshes, Joy's worked for years and years on Moon Valley. We don't really have wetlands and marshes, so one of her suggestions was that wetlands and marshes should just be Moon Valley. I mean, Moon Valley is a huge resource of ours. And one of the things too was that people just, it made people, we still have people that don't know what Moon Valley is or where is it or how you get to it or hike in it or go in it. So what do you think? All right, let's talk about that.
and is that Michigan City or Long Beach?
Well, this is a issue I had with Joy about this because I know you do. I know you do. So this is where we were back and forth over Moon Valley. Yeah, I know.
Is Moon Valley a protected wetland?
a lot of it is. I remember.
I think there might be parts in what is or isn't been moved out, I couldn't say,
But-
because.
I mean, I know,
Long Beach Also transferred. the
right.
right of reversion of parcel to Save the Dunes, but those are also, like, says, we just
They're
need to make
privately
sure they're
owned.
part of Long Beach versus Michigan City.
I know, we went back and forth over this and oh.
I don't frankly have a problem with that. The things that confused me, I think the question is confusing just the way it's written. Number one, it says rank them with one being the most important, and then it says select one answer only. Well, how do you rank them if you can only select one answer?
Oh, they're gonna have to
Well-
fix that.
And to me, the more confusing thing is to have lakefront areas and the beach stops in there. Because unless you mean
What's
the
the
physical
difference?
stop, the building out on the street or the platform, because that's really the only lakefront. I don't understand the difference between those.
They might be talking, the beach stops could be the access from the road to
Right,
the beach.
right.
You know, there's, some of them have nice deck, some of them are steel,
Right.
you know, they're just different.
Right, and those are all being, I think most of those are all
they're getting
down
worked
to,
on,
yeah, they're mostly done, so. Yeah, okay,
Well, when you get into wetlands and stuff, what's Lake Claire?
I don't know what Lake
It's a lake.
Claire is.
And it's in the cove.
The sub,
it's
it's not even, so it's not
Called a
even,
Private lake.
Okay. I mean,
I
I don't
think
know.
you have to, they're supposed to be, if you want to use it, you're supposed to be living on it, I believe.
And that's fine.
I mean, I'm not.
But if
going
Moon
But the-
Valley is partially, one in Michigan City, two privately owned, I don't think we can assume any kind of control over that.
but isn't the Cove? That's Long Beach.
Correct.
So that's the suburbs, so that's Long Beach. So
I
would
was
it be
just-
beach stops access? I mean, is that what, when they talk about the beach stops, is that the access to the beach stops? Is that what we're
See,
looking
that whole
at?
question confused me.
Okay, so we need to rank with one being the most important. All right.
So maybe that
So it
whole
kind of,
question just gets reworked in a way that's more easy to
so how do we,
understand.
we,
I don't think it's our job to do that.
okay,
I do think it's, might be nice to be able to ask people what they think is important.
Right.
I agree.
So I don't think we should.
But I get the ranking with one being the most important. I mean, you start with one and then, I mean, I can figure that out, but
They put wildlife in.
I mean, I would get rid of Lake,
You got a point.
And there are issues with, deer, for instance, that people may or may not have.
Raccoons.
I mean, if you keep beach stops, we should probably just get rid of lakefront areas, you know?
You could put beach stops included, right? You could
Yeah.
add those like you did wetlands and marshes.
Right. You could do wetlands
so we're
slash Moon
combining
Valley.
wetlands. Well, I think we might have to just leave out Moon Valley. But then where does Lake Claire come in? So there's that.
What if you combined wetlands and woodlands? I mean, I don't wish to impose my opinions and my thoughts over the professionals that we are paying to do this and to intimate that I know better than they do. I understand that we want this geared to the things that we need for our community, but when we're going down to semantics,
So maybe it's appropriate to ask about, going back to what are you getting at?
right,
Right.
Because I look at Beacon and the map, not that that's the end all be all. but
Uh-huh.
Truly, the only thing I see that belongs to Long Beach. And there's arguably a meet, but we'll leave that for a whole different people in the future. Is
Is-
where the maintenance garage
Oh, okay, right. That's that little section there, right. Yep.
Otherwise, that's really not a huge preservation area per se, I would imagine. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they're.
All right, let me, so I,
That parcel's 20 acres though.
right, it's not small, so, all right, let me,
And there is like signage that it's a trail and you can access it. I mean, it said that if you there,
Well, the issue is what trail, where they accessing private property, right?
is it's so this guy owns it all? 20, I thought it was,
No.
I thought Shirley Hines or whatever, she saved it. I thought it was in like a trust. So somebody owns the whole thing.
It is in a trust, but
Okay.
not in
Not-
It's in a.
Yeah, a private.
Unity trust. And I don't want to get bogged down in that. The whole
Right.
point is, yeah,
Right.
I think it's misleading to make the public think that Moon Valley is.
Is part of our-
Correct.
Yeah,
Are you, really, is it open spaces? Is it wood? Is it the waterways?
I agree.
so the things we think are important are, I mean, you know, lakefront areas, wetlands, woodlands, beach stops. I mean, the access to beach stops, the beach stops themselves, open spaces, wildlife, you know, is that
Well, if you look at-
environmental?
If you look at the very next question, question 9,
Right.
it says, how would you rate the town's efforts to protect the following natural resources? And then beach stops is in there. So that, in my way of thinking, answers the question. Are they talking about the physical structures that we built there or the beach stops themselves? Because this says natural resources. Those platforms and the stairs and stuff.
Sure, not
natural
natural
resources.
No,
Right, but when you say beach stop to me, that's, I'm like, I think of this like going down to the beach at stop 23, like going down there, like, I'm not sure that I consider beach stop, I mean, I don't know that that's the area, but again, then I'm like getting bogged down in what
but
exactly
that,
that is.
it could be, you know, like there's dune grass, like some of them are very, you know, they've got trees and bushes and they're holding them down and
Yeah.
people work on them and plant flowers. Well, it could be that they're talking about, who knows?
All right, well, you know, I guess I mean, so we're still on 8, whether we want to toss wildlife into the mix with, you know, so which area of the town to preserve? I don't know whether we want to preserve, I don't know that wildlife fits into preserve for natural space and environmental protection. I don't know, Chris.
Shoot, I gotta take this.
Okay. Okay, I mean, I put it down, so,
This kind of seems like a false choice. You know, every one of them is important. Is one more important than the other? You know, wetlands, preserving our wetlands,
yeah,
we're losing, in Indiana, we've lost most of our wetlands. We're down to, I think, like 10%
yeah.
left. They're significantly important in regenerating water. The water. The woodlands help purify the air, you know, so what, it's, I don't know how you would rank one over the other, given that they're all important. I mean, it's really asking, I think it's really asking, where do you want to put the community's resources, taxes? If you want to do something, where would you put the taxes first?
Which then follows up much better with the following question there. I think what you just said makes more sense than rank them and now tell us how we're doing with it. Because it's almost redundant, but yeah, I like your,
All right, that will be posed to them, like what, that's what we're getting, you know, that's what we're looking for then is is that? Where do you want to put, where do you want to put the community's resources, right?
Mhm.
So, okay. I think then we're okay with that. So, how would you rate the town's efforts to protect the following natural resources? So we're still sticking with lakefront areas. Most likely combining wetlands and woodlands. I don't know how many, I don't know, do people know the
don't know.
difference between wetlands and woodlands? Or would you just say like, sure, I'd like to protect all of those?
And again, I'm reluctant to
Right.
replace my judgment. Replace their judgment with mine.
That was nitpicking.
Uh-huh.
I'd say beach stops are not a natural resource.
They're not. The beach, that's
Yeah,
the whole
That's what I said.
stops.
Yeah.
So when I think of a beach stop, it's the structure going down or where you sit and look out at the sunset.
Beach stop. There is no public access.
Correct.
That's correct.
So-
Those are trespass.
That's where lakefront areas, including lakefront.
Or access, right. Yeah, I agree with you. And this- I think this is probably a result of them not really understanding what our general terminology is and what
That's
we
right.
refer
Gets
to.
Back to, that's why, at
Right.
least have them explain it
Right.
to you too, because them being able to explain it shows you,
Yeah.
know it.
Tomato, tomato.
Protects us from spending a lot of money on something.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, and open spaces. I don't know what what is open space?
Well, there's a
Open space,
couple-
our community center? Is it
There-
fairyland? Is it, what is,
There's some random, over by stop 20, there's some areas of grass and trees that are between the rows that there's no houses or anything. Those are open spaces.
Right.
No, nobody owns them. They get mowed by the town, I believe.
Would that be, and I realize it's not very big, but would that, an example of that be the area at Oriole and Chastleton that somebody did the very nice little boxwood LE thing in?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
that's the
small,
town.
but they're open
Yeah.
spaces.
Yes. There's a couple of them. There's one around Melrose on the, going back toward Castleton up behind there. There's one. And then there's one Somerset and
Oh, that one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Fairyland, they call it.
yeah, so there's
Yeah,
a
it
couple.
just sits there.
And
It used to have a picnic table on it for
Yeah,
about 30 years.
the other one has the one on Melrose has a couple of swings or did.
Are you talking about, is it Somerset and Parkside? And
Yeah,
Colgate?
yeah. hmm
It's the town of those.
Right.
Yeah, so those are open, those I would consider open spaces. There's nothing, there's no structures, there's no fence even.
And it's been talked about, like, oh, we could make that a dog park and nobody there wants the dog park. And it was looked into quite a bit, it's several years
If
ago.
nobody wants it there, then you don't want to.
Well, it's just liability.
But somebody at this intersection might love a dog park.
They just
Totally.
might.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not by the dog park.
All right, so we're leaving open spaces. Is your property, so this was one that originally read, is your property at risk for erosion or wave-related damage? So I know Tom was on this. I talked to Joy and I went over it, and there were a couple of things that we talked about. So it was, is your property at risk? And so also being on building commission, we see a lot of different things. So one of it was, is your property at risk for steep slope is talked a lot. So Joy and I were back and forth about A, steep slope erosion, and B, sand and or wave related damage. I don't, part of it is, I think what McKenna was trying get at, and again, we're guessing, are they trying to figure out if the water comes back? I mean, I,
Yes. Or recognizing shoreline protection ordinance and the limits to development that might be
I'm sure you're right.
Right.
for that, right?
I mean, my property is subject to steep slope erosion in
Well,
the
everybody's
hill.
Subject to erosion.
Right.
No, but I mean, it's very obvious in the 25 years that I've lived there, you know, that the hill is falling away but there's nothing that the town can do about that. You know, you can't change the fact that I live on the top of a dune.
That's what I was saying about like, what,
Right.
I don't, what are they
Some
gonna
of
do?
these things will drive Future zoning. restrictions.
correct.
Right.
That's right.
What you're looking at is what is our big plan for these properties?
Right.
And or do we do some other things? Like in the last 2 years, we've updated the steep slope.
Right.
That's what's
Mhm.
required, and that the building commission could require you to go have an engineer. do
Right.
All of those things, so.
And for
I
your,
think this
for
is
your
so
neighbors
mandated,
too.
Is the average person gonna understand this versus something that the town just decides? So that part of it.
And that's why we were trying to break it down with steep slope and then the sand or, wave-related
So it's-
damage.
It's a
like-
good question. It should stay.
Just needs to be reworded, I think, a little bit.
But you could put them both, you could put
Right,
erosion and steep slope.
Right. simple though.
Which part is simple? Wait, look, I'm like,
Adding the wording.
Maybe it would be appropriate if what they mean is your property at risk for wave-related erosion or damage or erosion. Maybe that's better, and then you can differentiate with the steep.
Steep slope.
Right. So two
It's
questions.
part of this, what you guys did with the steep slope is to protect neighbors' houses as well, right?
Well, the last few that had
Yeah.
occurred, and rightfully. so.
Yeah, I
People
think that's
are-
good.
Want to know this isn't gonna
Yeah.
come crashing down the
Right.
yard, right?
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
You know, or seeing the excavator climbing up the hill.
Right.
It's gonna hit my house.
so are we doing two questions out of this or what are we doing?
I think they should.
Okay, can you tell me what we're writing in here, please? Is your property, so question 11 is your property at risk for,
Wave-related damage or erosion.
all right, and that's question 11.
Or water,
Right.
Yeah, water related maybe.
I like water.
I like water related better than wave.
Because even if it's not wave, if the water's all the way up at
Yeah,
the
it could be-
foundation,
It could
it's,
be ice,
yeah.
yeah.
I guess see what they think about that, because they're going for the lake, but, right?
Right. Okay, I'm gonna put water wave. Okay, and then what's number 12? Is your property at risk for,
Deep slope. or-
Steep slope erosion.
See, maybe see Larry would put on that too.
what would you prefer? I'm not,
No,
I know,
What's it
that's why
actually
we were
called?
talking about,
Right.
like, that's what Joy and I came up with was steep slope erosion.
I had never heard of it until
Oh,
you
yeah,
just
we-
mentioned it
oh.
now, but when you did, it was like, oh yeah, that's what mine is. I
Oh,
never
it's-
heard it called that.
Oh, no,
But if-
it's, yeah.
When my home was built 30 some years ago, if somebody had forced them to move it forward 5 feet, it would have made a lot more sense. And there was plenty of room for them to do that.
But that's not even when the building commission considers what you're talking about. We're talking,
Setbacks and stuff, yeah.
no, but the steep slope erosion it's the steep slope ordinance is different. I know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying about moving your building forward.
That's simple.
I mean, not
Yeah.
allowing it.
Yeah.
So they should
All right.
add.
So 12.
Yeah, add that.
All right, so then we're going to 13, which is, do you believe that do you believe that the character of the local beach is threatened by flooding and or erosion? So what's the character of the beach? So then we talked about, do you believe that, it's kind of like what standards should apply to the lakefront development to mitigate flooding and erosion. So Tom, I think this was one that there was a back and forth, like, or do you believe, or what standard should apply? Do you believe a standard should apply to lakefront development to mitigate flooding and erosion? I mean, we were just kind of trying to mess around with the words there and figure out, like, what are we trying to say? I mean, how does flooding and erosion change I mean, it's what people do after flooding and erosion that changes the character of the beach or before it. So I'll let you talk.
Going back to number 11 for just a moment.
Okay.
Did we settle on water related?
I-
Because I think the wave related is really critical here.
I put water/wave.
Okay.
I mean, I don't, know.
And, you know, I don't know what beach flooding looks like. I know what disappearance of the beach looks like when the water's up.
You're right. So it's not really
Same thing.
flooding. It's not flooding. The beach isn't flooding. It's just the water levels.
But
It's not
is there a
flooding.
history of any kind of flooding
Mm-hmm.
in Long Beach?
No.
I don't have any.
Oh,
No.
Certainly Erosion.
Right. Erosion that'll cause, right. No. I'm-
Fluctuating.
It's the water
Fluctuating
level,
levels and
right.
erosion Maybe, right? That.
Definitely that, but-
Cyclical water levels and erosion. If they're trying to get to, again, don't really know what they're doing here versus do we have adequate beach protection, shoreline protection, or do we not? That feels to me like what they're doing here.
And Chris, the other aspect of this is, if you live along the lakefront, you are subject to natural occurrences.
Right.
Whatever they may be.
Totally.
You're gonna be impacted by them. Our house, what attracted us to the building site was its proximity to the lake. What bit us in the rear end was its proximity to
Yes.
the lake.
Yeah.
But, you go down a block or two, down Lake Shore Drive, and those houses are set so far back from,
Yeah.
you've got to cross a long dune before you ever get to the beach, and the chances of that dune going away are
Slim.
pretty slim.
Yeah.
Well, I'll no longer say it can't happen,
No,
but it would be a real occurrence if it did.
Mhm.
So, the number of homes that are subject to significant erosion or wave-related damage, I think you could almost draw a line in the sand and say, this side is, that side isn't. So I guess what I'm saying is, I'm not sure how useful the question is.
And it's probably another good one to ask them, what are you looking at?
Mhm.
What are we looking for?
right. What are you trying to find out by asking that?
Because it is true. I mean, because we've walked the beach from 31 to 13 and it's amazing how, just what you said, where some houses are so far back, nothing's ever going to get to them and others just aren't there. So, well, all right. So we have to talk about that. So then we get back to the character. So the character of the local beach, and I agree, flooding doesn't make any sense there. And there's no flooding
No.
in Long Beach. So, I mean, I think erosion,
Yeah, you can ask that.
well, that's what I was about to say. So Larry's always talking about, floodplain, right? So where is the floodplain? I don't even know where the floodplain is. So we don't want to take,
Flood insurance.
right, so we don't want to leave that out because of all the stuff that Larry's doing for the floodplain.
Just-
So Larry
just leave-
Wall, it does a lot of stuff with floodplain.
We just need to go out to see what they're trying to accomplish, whatever.
Okay,
Because going back to this point, we know there's a floodplain, there's a flood map, and if you pull up Beacon, you can click on that option. and it'll
Mhm.
show. So what are they getting at?
okay.
Do we need more regulation? regulation. We need less regulation. We just need an effort to start knocking on doors to say, hey, we need federal grants, or we need, what are they getting at? with
Right.
those questions?
Okay. And do we want to look at changing the question or just try, let them know that
I
we're,
think all of the above. I think it's tough to answer without knowing
Right.
what they're trying to get.
You know, just
Yeah.
ask them to clarify.
The
So
questions all fall in the
Right.
same
I think it's
category.
discussion time with them.
well, that's what they wanted. I
Right.
mean, that's
I
what they
mean,
wanted.
right.
wanted us to do this and then
Yes.
that's fair.
All right, then, the next question. It's have public agencies and or your community taken action to combat erosion? I mean, again, there was a discussion that we had about, or are you aware that public agencies or your community have taken action to combat erosion rather than have they? I mean, are you aware that they have?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Is,
Yes.
I don't know, then there's a comment because then, I mean, if they, or if you just say have, have they, then they say yes or are.
If
Like
they say,
what?
have they, I'm gonna have to say, I don't know. And what do we get from that?
I'm assuming they do. I mean, planting things along just the beach access is helping with erosion. And I know they do that.
Say, no, because you plant the grass, but it hasn't. I don't believe that contributes to, it, right? So that part, again, I don't know that.
It does.
These, I'm with you, I've seen that and I just think this whole series of questions
I didn't know what
is
this,
poorly
what,
worded in terms of what they're going.
that's what I didn't know
agree
what
with
they
you.
were going for. Like, did they want to know, like LaPorte, that's why Joy and I, we kind of talked about like LaPorte County Health Department, like what were they looking for here?
And-
So,
Or is there an argument, did Long Beach pass the shoreline protection ordinance in 2018, 19?
Mhm.
Yes, and then did somebody lobby downstate and then there's state code or statutes passed that says you have to do this within a certain amount of time, or it's automatically. Why? Because we want to be able to put our seawall in faster. Is that? Is, how does that help your planning? And it may be, hey, we need, again, all of those things, like community effort, focus our dollars, fundraising efforts, our lobbying.
They do ask, so the next one is what additional actions can be taken. So they give you a chance to make suggestions, which I like. Somebody could just write in there.
I think this whole series of questions has to be reworked.
I agree. It's
Not one at a time. I think they have to be looked at as a whole and reworked based on what they're trying to accomplish and what we want them to accomplish.
Maybe something. People to understand
Mhm.
how they contribute, right? And what they can do with it. And again, I don't know what they're seeking.
because you're gonna run the gamut of people. Some people are gonna know like
I-
things Tom knows about, and some people are gonna be clueless.
I have for decades plowed our walkway to the water and it's been just fine and
yep,
they don't believe that affects it at all. And that's what they believe.
yeah. All right, well, let's move on from that, go right to land use. Which will also be very exciting. Okay, the appropriateness of the following land uses. So we go 1 to 4, and do we also want to have no opinion in this one?
So
Okay,
Yeah.
single-family housing. The appropriateness of it, that's all we have.
Mostly.
Multifamily housing apartments, I think the only ones are Mickey Gallus. I don't know that we have any other apartments in Long Beach.
Right, but this may be going to, do we want to someday? use
Oh,
Look
I
at it,
know,
right.
right?
Yeah.
over the-
Well, the, That hacienda, right,
Yeah.
that hacienda property, you never know.
Yeah, I think it's a legitimate question.
No, I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just throwing out that those are the ones right now. Short-term rentals, we don't have to worry about. Leave them in?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Well,
Hmm.
it's a valid point right now, Long Beach is sitting well. Because you have a grandfather
Right.
statute. Or, oh, sorry, ordinance.
Ordinance.
It may be that the community in general says, we want this to
Right.
be a short-term rental community. It would really help us. We
Mhm.
could make a lot of money. That might not be what you want, but the issue, what you're trying to do as part of
Are
the
you trying to
survey is
find out?
what direction are we going, right? It's, maybe you don't want to open that can of worms.
We'll find out. We asked the question.
Just asking the question, and getting the answer does not mean we have to change what we're doing.
No.
It,
But it might be indicative of what we
Right.
actually want. but it's just
Exactly.
what the decision
Right.
is.
Right.
That is the point of it.
right. I don't think we can substitute, the fact that I don't want a short-term rental next to me. But
Not a chance.
Commercial,
Necessary because you have those spots.
right?
what's,
Parks,
what's
and-
weekly? What does that mean?
I don't know, that I put a question mark after it.
Okay, sorry, thought it was just me.
Parks and open space. And municipal facilities. But municipal meaning like our town facilities, they just put in the community center, but again, that might just be, I didn't know what they meant by that.
And the
It
fire
could have been
station.
but they didn't, that they weren't sure what to put after it. That might have been, they remembered the community center.
Do-
So I don't know if they meant the town hall, the public safety building, community center. I don't know exactly what they were getting at for that.
Maybe it's better to say community facilities. I don't. And again, it depends on what they're trying to say. Are they trying to say the town hall and the new fire station and the community center? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. The street department building.
They may just be lumping everything together based on lack of familiarity.
Yeah, and
Which is a good reason to press them, so they don't just make something. big.
Yeah.
correct.
It would be interesting to look at the zoning map
Mm-hmm.
and identify, are there areas surrounding those zones that would be appropriate for additional development if it were to present itself? For instance, is there a housing area that commercial development could build around the periphery of it if the opportunity arrived? And would that be okay? Or are we not wanting to change the zoning maps at all? We have what we have, we have what we want, and we don't want to even think about expanding into other uses.
Such as like mixed use things, is that, I just don't know where you would do that, like mixed use kind of. Mixed use.
Mixed use, yeah,
Yeah, like, so it would have some business and residential aspect.
for the multifamily, for instance. If somebody came in and wanted to tear that down and put in a mixed-use development with housing on the top floor.
Like retail on the bottom.
on the bottom,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Office on the bottom. Would we want that to occur? Would that be okay?
That's for the community, yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. I don't know.
If the community's not saying, we don't want growth.
That'd be
Good to know.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a good question to maybe ask. If the opportunity presented itself, would you be interested in mixed use developments?
So we want to add that in.
Maybe. Just to
In
feel
most
it out.
communities that have longstanding zoning maps. The only way new development comes in is if you alter the zoning maps.
And where our zone, I mean, what do we, right now, we,
A few different categories of residential and then the business.
Mhm.
Really, you don't have much because you don't have much space.
Right.
that's developable.
Right.
Michigan City, LaPorte, and LaPorte County adopted the joint zoning ordinance, which is kind of out of key because if you go down Pine Lake Avenue and there's people along the lake that are not on the island, there are properties that are still zoned commercial because they redid a zoning map, but it doesn't fit what the uses are. So yeah, I don't know whether there's, because it seems to me the last plan, and I'm speaking from recollection, did not want to expand commercial in fact, and that was that. So now.
Right.
The whole goal was to really get rid of commercial.
Which they pretty much have, besides belly
Outside
flop.
Here in Hacienda.
Yeah.
I think it's legitimate to ask the question though, because things have changed. That's why we're redoing this. If nothing had changed, we wouldn't.
I don't think, I don't
redo
think it hurts to ask. I don't think that's, I mean, that doesn't mean we're gonna be changing
Right,
anything.
exactly.
If this,
We're just surveying. That's all we're doing.
and where we are tonight, if this is essentially the civic core, it's the commercial area, it's the government services area, it's the parks area. You know, you could make if you were a developer, you could make an argument that I would like to take a look at across the street, slightly up the hill on either direction, and see additional commercial development put in there that would serve the community.
Mhm.
Is that a good thing for the community? That would be buying some homes and redeveloping those areas. It'd be a radical change. Would we be amenable to that? Or would we just shut that down as?
I think that's the point of asking the question.
I mean, if they sold really good beef sandwiches, I'd be down.
You know, nice restaurant,
Right.
An outdoor cafe, yeah.
Right.
you know, I want to make sure that everybody understands I'm not advocating.
No,
Yeah.
no, I know what you, yeah.
It would be possible. if
I-
you
yeah,
opened
I don't think
up
it hurts to
commercial
ask.
development, what would a developer say is possible in Long Beach? Or would it-
And maybe I'm looking at this from the wrong perspective. But the way I look at it is we're asking these questions to develop a new plan, to develop what the community wants, not what Diana wants, not what this board wants. And in order to do that, we cannot avoid questions that could potentially give answers that some of us aren't in favor of.
Totally.
That's my perspective.
Create enough confusion for you?
I got it. I got it.
Good.
All right. Would you support regulations that limit the size of new homes in Long Beach? The perpetual question. Any comments on
It's a good
that?
question.
Crux and.
So these are, I'm trying to think, we talked about moving these, 15, 16. Yeah, okay. And then how concerned are you about the scale and character of new construction in the community? I mean, a character, I don't know what character means, but
I mean, the style.
I know, well,
Yeah.
but that
I know,
style, that's
yeah.
not,
I understand what they're talking about.
okay, are we okay with that one?
So,
ADU, should Long Beach consider allowing ADUs such as guest cottages or apartments? I mean, again, so they're taking these questions without looking.
This is an important one, statewide. And communities that are very proactive, much larger, and have the means are more. issues that are growing exponentially.
And what are they
This is an
doing?
important question, well, because these are coming up, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think you need to ask this question.
Yeah.
because Right now, there have been people who.
People are-
went to the BCA.
Yes, I know, that's what I'm saying. It comes before, right,
On top of the garage. and
Right,
there's-
right.
There's a segment of the population that says, listen, we should be able to move our mother-in-law in there.
Yeah.
Right.
The way that things are going and we can have our family under one roof. But this is a growing concept that I think that you're.
Oh, yeah.
I think it has to be.
Definitely has to be asked.
Public resources and facilities, please rate the resources. Is this also a no opinion?
Yep,
Yes.
yep, no opinion.
Bicycle trails,
Where are we gonna put?
walk, yeah, well, yeah.
I understand, that was
No,
an
I know.
inappropriate comment on my part.
Walking trails, pedestrian access to beach and lakefront areas, maintenance of existing roads, adequate drainage for roads, all roads, I don't know. What is existing roads and all roads? I don't know what that means. Outdoor sports facilities, and I think we probably need to talk about tennis, pickleball, basketball, volleyball, and baseball.
It doesn't
because
say
those
outdoor.
are.
It just says. sports
But I
facility.
added outdoor.
Okay,
Just because and then indoor, it's coming up, so that's why I put outdoor. And then we have playgrounds, and then next is indoor sports
It doesn't say
facilities.
sports though. It's just like, so the community center, you can, to me, that's an indoor facility,
Correct.
Yeah.
not necessarily a sports facility. The gym could be, but not all of it.
Well, well, that's, okay. Well, that's what I mean,
tomato, tomato.
that's why I was going for, the sports facilities, then we have indoor and outdoor.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily that, and it's semantics, whatever.
Okay, what am I missing here?
That's right. No, you got it. Indoor, outdoor.
So what do you want to do with it?
No, it's not up to me what we do with it.
Well, I know,
I
but
just,
what,
when I read this, I read it differently than you did. I interpreted it differently. I interpreted sports facilities to mean sports facilities, outdoor, indoor, any kind. Because people do play in the gym, in
Right.
inclement weather. So, and then I read indoor facilities as to be not necessarily sports facilities,
Right,
just
just-
indoor facilities.
Yeah, where you can.
So
play
I don't
cards
think
and-
I would change the sports facilities to outdoor sports facilities because then you have to add an indoor sports facilities and then just leave the outdoor.
so maybe we have to do indoor sports facilities, outdoor sports, well, because they're separate, and then do indoor facilities.
Figure out what they mean by indoor facility.
Right, I don't know what they mean.
The public safety building.
Right, or the community center rent space, so what,
We'll have to ask.
Question.
right.
Yeah.
Which would be the indoor facility of the community center.
They're trying to press a different public resource facility, but somebody's going to have a question.
Yeah.
Things that you want.
Well, and in some cases in surveys, don't they do that just to check the accuracy of the answers? Because people will answer the same question worded differently than, from one time to the other.
Yeah, because they're asking about beach stops again.
Yeah. Historical properties. And we have
What are those?
two,
We do.
the community center and
This one.
this building, I don't,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know, this one's
Again,
not
it's a bit
designated
redundant.
historical, but the community center is.
And-
Yeah, and beach stops. So yeah, now I'm going back to what's the question?
to beach stops.
Public resources and facilities. Yeah, and right, so what's the public safety building? Because that also is, that's used as correct. So then that should probably be, yeah, in the town hall and the public safety building. Because the public safety building is used for public activities as well. Okay. Public safety
just don't.
building.
They
Hmm?
they just don't know that, probably.
Right.
They just
People,
probably-
well, I mean, that's where
Why
they
they
do
want
the
us to go through this.
They
social,
probably just
that's
think
where
it's the
they
fire
do.
That's,
They do the, and that's why they continue to, call it this
Right.
public safety building. They do the
right.
training there
Yeah.
for I mean, they're doing all of that. So beach stops, again, there they are. So a public resource. So is the beach stop? Is it the stop itself?
Yeah, we'll-
What are they?
You can
Where
ask.
are we
That's the
again,
question.
right?
That's the same question.
I
We're gonna
know.
find out.
All right.
We'll find out.
Please rate the following essential community services: police protection, fire protection, water. So when they talked about sewer, so one of the discussions Joy and I had was that we can't have sewer on our own in Long Beach because we don't have a water treatment plant and, okay, so yeah, if we have, then we have to have a sanitary district and have Tom operate.
But you have them you ask the question.
Well,
So the following, yeah, please rate them though. I don't know if that's the question, right?
I don't think it's the question.
No,
I don't know that it's the question. I mean, you have to have a sanitary district to operate a water treatment plant and, I mean,
But,
Say rate the need for the. following.
right, because we're asking what people want.
And for instance, but the average public going back to, they might not be aware that you have to go through and do all of those things. But if you feel like we need sewers, that might at least be a tip to say, let's explore this further. Let's do more community outreach. Let's have a workshop to say, hey, there are options. We could start our own sanitary district. Here's what's involved. Maybe we could get Newland Beach. Maybe we could get Michiana Shores. But one of the issues that continues to come up is those who want to connect around the perimeters with the district. Michigan City is now making people sign and say, we won't run off straight against annexation. We won't do this. So I think asking the question of the need for them, at least plants the seed of, do we even explore it for?
I agree.
oh, Tom and I are just like, oh, about the sewer thing.
And I think it's just changing that question of, please rate the need for the following essential.
I mean,
Because most of them are gonna say, we can do one.
Right, but they just don't want to
Except
pay
those who
for
just
it.
wanna do something.
Exactly. And the ones who, when we talked about it for 6 years, then said, oh, wait, but no.
this is the time to ask though and
But
get
I
feedback.
think we have to ask.
Yeah,
I don't,
it was
you have
important.
to ask, but
It was important.
yes, it was. Please rate your preference for coordinating the following community services with adjacent communities. And then we can say Michigan City keeps telling us they don't want us, but we'll put police protection, fire protection. We already get our water from Michigan City, so I don't know why we would leave water in there unless you have a different thought. We get our water from Michigan City.
We do, but what we're asking is, how important do you think it is that we coordinate this? And it could be that they say it's not important at all. And I'm not saying we can change it because, practically, it's just like the sewer kind of thing. What hoops we'd have to jump through to do.
What do they mean by coordinating?
I know, what are we
Yeah.
coordinating?
Is that mutual aid,
We already get it.
receiving?
That's what I mean. What are we coordinating? It's coordinated. We get it.
Because otherwise,
Why,
they have informal agreements of mutual aid and they're.
right. I just think it's just right.
Yeah, again, one more thing that we need to talk to them.
Then they may not know about the mutual aid. I mean, so we provide mutual aid
They
to,
may be getting to, do you think we can get rid of our police department and fire
Right.
department and use outside reach
Right.
instead, right?
That could be what they're
I
saying.
doubt that's what they're doing, but again, this feels like a canned question to me, because.
This one feels very canned because there's long, well, anyhow, okay. What is your opinion on the enforcement of codes and ordinances in the town?
I like
God.
that question.
Please rate the following administrative community service from 1 to 4. Town office hours. It says town permitted processes. I assume
no
they're
idea what
talking
that
about
means.
town permits. I mean, I don't know. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Town permit.
Oh,
Which actually, is it the town or is it the building commission? I mean, town is fine.
Yeah, because you got to get a permit to.
Town
build-
permit process,
Golf
your
cart.
golf
yeah, I
cart.
didn't understand what that meant, but now it makes
Lots of
sense.
permits.
And-
It should say town permitting.
Or town permit
Permit
process?
process.
Right, that's what I wrote.
Permit?
I wrote
That's what I
town
just-
permit
I just
process.
crossed out the extra T in the ED.
And we're back to communication technology, cell, internet, broadband. Then how important it is to that Long Beach invests in recreational facilities? I don't know, what do we invest? I mean,
Very important.
well, like what? What recreational facilities are? Recreational, never
playground.
mind. Somehow my mind went to water. I'm like, what am I talking?
Playgrounds, yeah,
All right, well,
Ball court.
yeah.
hey, we redid that
It looks
court a
great.
couple years
Yeah.
ago.
That looks awesome.
Top golf.
Yeah, let's do Top Golf and see how many guns we can
Wouldn't that
bring
be
in.
cool?
We could do, what is it? Paintball. We could do paintball.
Yeah.
courts.
In what used to be Bear Forest, but it disappeared overnight years ago because they take down all our trees.
Okay.
We could do it in Moon Valley.
Yeah, let's do that. Which recreational amenities would you most like to see expanded or improved in Long Beach? Public access to the lakefront. What?
Definitely not.
Wow.
Well, I think we've got to take golf course facilities out of there because
Well, we
again, it's
did, yeah,
privately
yeah.
owned. We can't.
And I
do it.
took that out of there.
Okay.
Is that correct, Chris? I mean, I took it out. There's recommendation, yeah.
Water access for non-motorized boats.
What does that mean?
Can't you carry your
Sailboats.
kayak down there?
Kayaks, sailboats,
I don't know what
paddle boards.
thoughts, Tom? Any thoughts on this? This one was,
Fine.
just seemed, I don't know, just like,
Know that I would call this an amenity. But when you think about access to the beach of construction equipment to do maintenance on homes,
It's tough.
there's none. There's virtually none.
Yeah.
oh,
Well, and it's not,
we have a process.
it's not
yeah.
a recreational amenity for certain, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
No, but we have a process. Chris can tell you.
Well, now they've given the building commissioner, there's a license agreement.
Yeah.
That includes some indemnifications and making sure there's a bond for those who are doing construction, et cetera. So I do think in addition to that, there are certain periods of the year that it's prohibited and then allowed for beach access. So
Where does the access take place?
at the beach stops wherever.
24 years.
Yeah, I don't know all of them, but it's usually what happens is there's a request that comes through to the building commission and then they see if it can be accessed there or you have to go to another one.
So 24 is what the police use. There's gravel on the side. But that's not always the one because there have been some people that need to do it with the pool. But yeah, it comes before the building commission.
And then they can just drive down the beach in the front end loader or the, whatever it is.
So maybe we just say, which amenities would you most like to see expand?
Yeah.
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 An ordeal.
Neighbor, maybe a lot of sewer, was willing to give us access.
And that's what happens.
To that,
That's the alternative.
Mm-hmm.
and there are very few of those.
Yes.
So
Otherwise, you hire a doctor still to bring your equipment off the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
of
difficult.
course, it's gonna go off the mark, but creating a public access for equipment at every, pick the number, so many stops, so that stop
Every
is
10.
wide enough
Every 5, yeah,
and
something.
built to a different standard that it would accommodate the kind of equipment to get down, would really be beneficial to people on the lakefront.
Well, there is another category here, other, where somebody could write that in if they wanted to.
Good idea.
And there is
I don't-
also
it
a
doesn't matter.
process with the building commission. So, I mean, there is that process available.
But not everybody knows that.
He's actually having-
Somebody lives.
Yeah.
These are gonna be terrible example, somebody who lives at
15 or, yeah,
that wants to
right.
get equipment where they have to go to be able to get back to 18, and he's saying
Yeah.
possibly 18 might be the spot, one of those spots where there's a access point versus at 24 and going all the way down, or maybe Mr. Went and Mrs. Went allow someone to access from theirs, or right as they've done. That's probably
Hmm.
You know, having that equipment on the beach is obviously disruptive. So as much as it can shorten the amount of distance they have to travel, lessens the amount of inconvenience that the rest of the property owners have to live with.
But I think on some part is where the seasonal limitations happen for that too, that it can only occur between September and March, maybe. Something in the ordinance.
So how would we fit something in? So there was the question about codes and ordinances, which I thought just kind of was just, what is your opinion on the enforcement? But it doesn't answer the question about, you know, when you asked about how do you get equipment down there, there is a building commission, there's a BZA. I mean, how do people get themselves familiar other than just saying, I didn't know? I mean, so your opinion on the enforcement of them, but they exist and the clerk treasurer's office exists to answer questions. And I'm trying to figure out, just like you said, like, I'd like to be able to get down to my house closer than stop 24, which I think we've done for a pool somewhere. So how do you do that? How do you ask?
We could, you know, would you support a access, you know, it's a certain amount of accesses allowed for
Well, that's specific. I'm just saying, like, how do you,
non-motorized boats, you know?
how do you get a question that just says, how familiar are you with
That would be
processes in the
useful.
town or
So
something?
that's a separate
Might
issue,
be,
I think.
right.
I think what
Yeah.
Tom's saying is, do we add something under this category that says, you know, and I won't get the wording right,
That-
but
That would be useful, like, so say. somebody had a-
dedicated access points for
Yes.
beach to the
Yeah.
beach for,
If you have a
maintenance and
sailboat,
construction.
that would be
Right.
useful for that
Right.
too. You
Right.
know, like bring my sailboat
Exactly.
down there through that same access point.
but what you're talking about is a potential, I think, additional question. I'm not sure
Yes.
what we
Yeah.
gain from that, other than the fact that we know that we need to do better communication and let people know, because I didn't know there was a process for that,
For what?
for getting access.
Well, but
know
you
what I mean?
probably would if you had to get
Yeah,
access.
you'd find out pretty
Building
quick.
something, you'd find out. You'd find out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Okay, I don't know what we'll do about that. Okay, thanks, Tom.
I'd say like three spots would be good. I'd say one down there, 124,
And
and
one
then
in the
one
middle.
toward the other end would be a good.
But then that's part of the
3 spots would
process
be good.
already, right? I mean, that they come to the building commission. So it's already covered by the building commission.
They're the ones without having to go through the.
Right.
That we just have an access point. I think one of the big battles on that is how much the park authority is done.
That's right.
Damage.
Yep.
that can cause trees and vegetation, and so the licensing giving a license agreement that says you have this period of time to access and you provide a bond in case you damage it. Those are the kinds of things that.
This is one of those questions that I think just gets developed further through discussion about what kind of lakefront protections. are we
Mhm.
doing
Or
for amenities.
Okay. All right, public utilities, should the town? Any thoughts on that?
I'm not sure I understand it.
I mean, we can't, I don't know what we can do. We can't, the water thing is, I don't know what
Tell
we're,
somebody they can't have water.
I don't know what,
Are there any areas of the town that do not have utility service? Water?
I don't
no,
think
I
so.
don't think so. Not that I know of. I mean, that was I think the water department worked hard at identifying different vacant lots and working through all of that. I don't know that there's any homes or anything
I-
that don't have water.
This kind of sounds like a canned question to me too, because it sounds more appropriate for an area that's maybe growing and there's more space, like, your Fishers and Carmel and those types of places where they're expanding. We got nowhere to go.
So the only other thing in my mind would be, is there a need to upgrade the quality of the utility? And I don't have an opinion.
I don't think so. I mean,
That's what it's saying. I mean,
Isn't some of that happening in Lake Shore Drive? Like the water?
Mhm.
It's getting upgraded, the water
Is it?
lines. With it, as part of that phase,
right.
is or will.
In the, yeah. So maybe there'll be, I can ask them, where,
I mean, lots of towns bury their electrical lines too. But I mean, that could be a question to pose. Would you be interested in that? I think it looks way better. Not having power lines everywhere, and it's safer. They don't go out as much as often. Then we get a lot of that happens constantly.
on my block last week. Yeah.
Constantly is happening.
Would have lines going down in bad weather?
No, they're buried.
would you support public investment in a sanitary sewer system to replace individual septic systems? More sewer questions.
You gotta ask.
I think you gotta ask.
Would you be willing to pay additional fees or taxes to fund a sewer system?
Gotta ask.
Gotta ask.
And leave space for comment.
That's right.
People might have ideas.
Have connections.
Totally.
Well,
All right.
any closing thoughts, anybody?
Get some questions. Don't you?
I do. Well then, moving on to new business, there is none. Public hearing, we have none. Public comments, anybody on Zoom would like to make a public comment? Hearing none, and there's no one in the audience. It appears as though, we are now heading toward closing matters, which is our next meeting is September 15th, 7 p.m. here. It is now 8:28 and we are now officially adjourned. What am I?
Motion. You need a
Oh,
motion.
I'm sorry. I will make a motion to adjourn at 8:28.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.